Hi folks, welcome to my channel World of Flutter. Today we are going to see the implementation of this particular package named File Picker for Flutter. You can find the package on pub.dev. So let's start. First of all, for installing the package, you need to go to install, and you can use this command either in the terminal, or else you can use this particular line of code in your dependencies in your pubspec YAML file. So here I already have a piece of code, a basic UI. So it has an app bar and a scaffold, and in the scaffold we have a column which has two containers, you can see, and there is one more container whose visibility I have made dynamic. So I have a boolean variable on the basis of which the visibility is for the third container. So I have made it in such a way that if once you pick the files, then only I'll set this to true, so that the container will be visible for us. And if you click on reset, then the container will disappear. So this is the basic UI that I am using. So let's go to the pubspec YAML. In under dependencies, I have added the file picker package, and once you add this, then stop your application, run pubget. Once you ran the pubget, it will run and it will add your dependency, whatever you have added, and then you can see that the process is finished. So now after that you can run. So any time you make a change in the YAML file, you have to stop the application, which means killing it, then do a full restart after pubget. Okay, so that is the first step. Then you have to import this particular line of code in your file. So in whatever file you want to use this, you have to import it. So I have imported it here. When you import it in the start, it will be of gray color. Why? Because it will be an unused import, but I am using it here, that's why it's green. Okay, now let's go back to the readme. So in readme you can see the documentation has been given, so you can read it as well. It's for our use only. So for single file, I have copy pasted this line of code from here, and I have pasted it here, as you can see. So this pick files function is present, and it will pick the files that you want to pick. So here we are using a file object, and that file object I am printing in the console. Okay, so we have a condition here that if result is not equal to null, then only the file will be we can use that file. Otherwise, if it's not there, if it's null, which means the user cancelled the picker. So this will only run when this particular condition will be true. So here one thing to note is that you're using a file class and you're making an object of it. So for the file class, you have to import .io. It will ask you by default to import .html. That also works, but sometimes .html can throw errors in the future, so you can use .io also if you want. Okay, so let's try to see if it's get printed or not. So I'll click on the button and I'll pick, let's say, this particular Excel I'll be picking. Okay, so yes, it is printing here. Okay, so the second container that I was telling you the visibility about, how you can make the visibility. Since my class is already a stateful widget, you can see here it's a stateful widget, right? So I can do a set state. So after this, if in my if, let's say I want to do a set state, and I will set the file picked variable, which is true. Now if I pick a file, it will show. See, fine. Right now I am using a string file name which is empty right now. Later on we can add the name also. So if I give, let's say, a constant which is file picked, okay, then it will show you the name itself. So, and if you click on reset, then the box will go away, because in reset I have added the logic for set state file picked as false. So if you want to see the changes almost instantly, then you have to use set state rendered. Okay, now let's move. So this is for a single file. I'll tell you how you can even get the data from the file. We'll cover that also. So let's move on for multiple files. So let's copy this particular piece of code, and I'm going to comment the single file code. I'm not going to remove it, I'll just comment it out, and I'll add the multiple files. So for multiple files, I am using a parameter allow multiple, which will allow me to pick multiple files. Okay, we are having a null check issue. Yeah, Now we can even print it if you want to see how the list looks like. So you can print list of files and you can print the list. Okay. So here, since it's true, you can select multiple files. So let me select, let's say I select this particular Excel, then I'll select this PPT, then I'll select this PDF, and I'll select an image. So I've selected 4 files. Okay. So here you can see that you have a list of 4 files. So these are all file objects. So you have a list of file objects. Here also I have not included the set state part. That's why your visibility of this particular container is missing. Once I include that code, then that will also be visible to us. Okay, so here let's include that also for easy understanding. Okay, now you'll be able to see if you pick the files. Okay, so now you have picked the file, so file picked is there. Now let's move on. So here if I set it to false, let's say, then you won't be able to pick. I'll just click on reset and I'll pick the file again. Now if I try to pick multiple files, now it won't allow me because we have set it to false. So you can only pick one file if you want to pick. Alright, let's move. So here is multiple file with extensions. So if you want to pick multiple files but you want to pick a certain type of file, so you don't want the user to pick any file, let's say, so you can add this particular property just like any other property. So we can make it false for now also, we can make it true also if you want. So one thing to note is that here we have a type. So type by default is any, but if you want a custom extension, so you have to give the file type as custom. Here we have JPG, PDF and doc. Let's say I just want images, or let's say just I want just PDF. Okay, so let me remove this. Let's have only PDF. So according to this, yeah, according to this, it will only I will only be able to select PDF only. So let's pick files. Okay, here you can see that all the other files except for this PDF is disabled, which means that you cannot select any of it. You can only select this one. That's it. So that's how you can make your use your custom extensions also if you want. So instead of PDF, you can add more also, like let's say if you want to add XLSX. Okay, then it will only allow PDF and XLSX. That's it. So you can see we have XLSX enabled and PDFs enabled, but PPT is not enabled, your JPEG is not enabled. So these will not be enabled, but whatever you have written, that will only be enabled. Okay, let's move ahead. Yeah, so for this particular picker directory, what this particular function get directory path will do is will give you a path. So when you use this particular function, then it will give you a path something like /storage /emulated /downloads, something like that. So you can check this out once. If you want to try it out and use it, you can use this. Similarly, we have another function save file, which allows us to save a file. This also you can practice on your project if you want to use it. Then let's go to the loading results. So as I told you earlier also, that whatever file you are picking, we can also get the data from the file. So for example, the name of the file, the bytes, the size, extension, path, anything you can get. So for this, we can't work with the file object. So we need to make a platform file first. So let's do one thing. Let's copy, either copy or we can just use this particular line of code. That will also work fine. So let's do one thing. Let's comment out this part for multiple file and let's uncomment the code word for single file. Okay, so here instead of this file object, I want to make a platform file. Okay, and I'm going to print that only, the platform file. And here in set state, I will give my file name variable, which is a string variable, for which I can use this variable to put the text in my box here. So here I will use not a constant, but instead I'll use a string variable for displaying the name, whatever I'm selecting. So here you can do like this, file.name. Also you can print file, also you can print file.name, size, bytes, extension, path, anything you can print. Let's say I print extension. So let's see. Now if I select, these two print statements will be in the console, and because I did this set state, you will be able to see the name of the file instead of that file picked earlier. So let's pick a file. Let's say I pick this ppt. So you'll be able to see the name random5.pptx. Okay, so that's how you can get the name. Also you can get extensions also, like this. Here we can see in the console the two print statements that we added, that the printing file has pptx extension. So that's how you can get the data out of the file as well. This is for specifically for Flutter Web and Firebase storage. So if you are using Firebase as your database and using Flutter Web, then you can use this particular piece of code and make sure that you pick a file and it gets uploaded to the Firebase storage. So basically picking files is almost same everywhere, but for uploading you can get this line of code and you can upload it to Firebase with Flutter Web. Yeah, so this is the implementation of file picker package. Please like, share and subscribe, and hit the bell icon, and please share this with your colleagues, friends, and I'll see you in the next video.